I don't know how to start, but we're fucking back.
Hi,
Cavs.
How back are we?
We're so back, dude. Long time no sit down on a couch and talk.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's been
2 years. It has been 2 years.
Has it been 2 years?
It's been 2 years.
No,
man.
it hasn't.
Yeah, it's been like maybe
No, it
almost
hasn't.
2 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Was it last year, right?
No, dude, it wasn't 2023. It was 2022. We ended this, man. I will prove. Let me double check.
This guy's wrong.
The last
already.
episode
We just
came
started.
out, and I mean, it was just last weekend. The last episode came out. I got to search up our own podcast here, which is still out there. I'm pretty sure. Our last episode came out. You're right. It was 2023.
We were so back, and this guy's so
We're
wrong.
so back. Okay, it was June. June
last year?
19th, 2023 was our last
Juneteenth?
episode. Yeah. No, is it June 13th or
I'm
19th?
not sure.
Some American can tell us what's right, but I don't know. I think it might have been June 13th. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But at the time, that was going to be our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, didn't really feel like doing the podcast
Yeah,
anymore. It wasn't feeling like a bit of an energy sink. And slowly but surely, I think the itch just kept creeping on up.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when you get those messages. Like
Yeah.
you were sending them to me.
Yeah, thanks to anybody who did reach out.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
nice.
And then I would screenshot them and forward them to you.
You're getting them fairly. I mean, not frequently, but like more than I expected.
Way more than I expected. Regularly enough to make us think about the podcast again, which I think is what, jogged the thought of, do we just do this again?
Yeah, yeah.
But also, do we do the podcast again and like do it for a good reason, not just starting it up because it's something to do?
Yeah.
If it's all right with you, I'd love to kind of speak a little bit about why
Sure, yeah,
I
I was
wanted
just
to do
thinking
it,
about
and then
that.
I want to hear why you wanted to do it, because I don't think we've actually said why. Like I would get the feeling once in a while of like, oh, I feel like I miss doing the podcast. Then we would get messages like you mentioned, and that would kind of like feel nice, to like have people reach out and be like, I've watched all of your episodes, or I've listened to all your episodes, and like, I'm sorry you guys aren't doing the podcast anymore. I wish you would. Like that's a nice little nudge. But I think the reason why I didn't, I think if I start there, this makes more sense. The reason why I didn't want to do it again, or didn't have, I guess, the motivation to do it again, was because life has been feeling really good. And I think that that's a very different place than where I was personally when starting the podcast the first time.
Yeah.
Right? When the podcast first started, it was out of a place where I felt like I had lost any sense of like autonomy and control in my day-to-day life. I was so unhappy with my work at the time. That was a big, I guess, factor in choosing to want to do something that was my own. And then what I landed on was doing a podcast, right? I think you came on like episode 4 or something, right?
Something like that.
And then eventually joined on as the co-host for the podcast. Mickey's up there. Look at that. I'll talk about Mickey in a second. Mickey's my cat, everybody, for people who are listening, and the cat is behind Kabir right now.
Mickey bruv.
Yeah, Mickey bruv. Anyway, so I think there just wasn't the same motivation to do a podcast that centered around, mental health. In particular, men being open about mental health. You'll notice I didn't do my regular intro. I mean,
I wasn't sure how we
the podcast
wanted
shares
to.
candid, open, and sometimes vulnerable conversations. We're still doing that. Just a bit of a different approach this time around. But yeah, I think when life is feeling good, it's weird to think about talking about mental health.
Yeah.
When your mental health is in a good place, what's there to talk about?
Yeah. It does feel like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because you're already there. What do you need to work towards?
But I guess like that feels almost like hypocritical to the kind of things that we talked about on the podcast at the time. Because just because things are good, like that's not the end goal of managing your mental health. It's not like get to a place where things feel good all the time, because I'm sure at some point they're not gonna, and so to just like discard it and no longer think about it to the same extent. Like I had stopped journaling. I hadn't been going to the gym as often because I just felt like I was good, like I didn't need to do this, and then found something else, which I'll talk about too. But things had felt good. And so the motivation wasn't there, but slowly I think coming back to it for the right reasons, the right reasons started to make sense to me, which was that I just like doing this. I like doing it with you. Pause. I like doing it with you. I like putting something out into the world that I feel like is beneficial in a world that can be so flooded, especially in the world of social media, flooded with negativity stuff. I can get on about that all fucking day too, but I won't just yet. So it just felt like slowly over time that the right thing to do is to do it again.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we are, but I'm curious what made you want to get back into this and
I think
get back on the saddle.
Yeah.
You know,
get back on the saddle. I think what triggered the thoughts of us doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
We do it so good when we do it, don't we?
It. Dude, and then the best thing is we always finish at the same time.
We do. We do finish at the same time.
We wrap
it's very synchronized.
And we're out of there. Yeah. You know?
It's clean.
Dust the hands off.
Get home for some games.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
But it was. I think it might have been just the messages that you sent me, and I was like, "Wow, that's really nice." Because I had at that time completely the podcast was out of my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was like really nice. And then I think you sent like maybe 2 or 3 times you had sent messages, but I think it was just the thought of it and the memory, and it was the possibility of us starting again felt very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was excitement in my mind.
No doubt. Yeah. And other places too, maybe, but you know, I
think that's what triggered it. And then when we talked about it, we both shared the same excitement.
Yeah.
So that kind of piled onto it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we did kind of like feed into the excitement with each other a little bit. You know, knowing once you told me that you were thinking about it, because I remember there was one time I sent you a message, from someone, right? And then I had said something about like wanting to get back into it maybe, and then you were like, "I've been thinking about it too."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh no, shit, really?" Like, "Oh, that's cool." And like, I didn't realize we hadn't been checking in with each other as much either, man.
Yeah, I think those were like the times where it was like kind of more cemented, where I was actually actively thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then there were definitely other times where I was like, oh, I kind of miss not seeing Reuben every other week. Or how often were we doing it?
We were doing it each week at one point.
Yeah, at one point.
And then
when we had to slow it down.
We did have to slow it down.
I mean, it was a lot of work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But no, I missed it too. I missed seeing you. It was, and we talked about it all the time on the podcast. It was like a nice reason to get together and like sit down, you know, and actually talk to each other.
Yeah, I think I did miss that as well. Yeah, like it wasn't like I had fallen into a slump after the podcast or anything. I felt good as well.
Yeah,
it was just something I missed, and then reflecting on it was like we were both looking at the views quite a bit as well. I don't know if you were like gonna touch on that at all, but
I will. I will.
Okay, yeah. I think that was like I was trying to avoid thinking about that, and I was like, this is just something that was nice to do. Yeah. And then there was like the bonus was like other people messaging, but it just felt nice to talk about. And like even if we didn't need to talk about our feelings or like things that were going on in our lives, it just felt good. It just felt good. It was a nice memory.
Yeah. I think that it, like you bringing up the views point is like that was, I think something that kind of pushed us in the direction of not doing it anymore. And what I mean by that is, you know, like getting caught up in the fact that there was a sudden drop in like the TikTok fucking views and shit on the podcast, and I couldn't figure it out, and it just felt like I was smashing my head into a fucking brick wall trying to figure out how to like get back into the algorithm. And frankly, I think the only way around it for me that made sense, maybe you can agree, was to step away.
Yeah.
That was detrimental to our mental health, right? It was like becoming fixated on that. And like, as much as you might think like, oh, well, just don't worry about it. Just don't look at it. At the time, I think that was hard to do. And when we talked about revisiting this, I sent you like if you remember, it was like a big notes thing. And I wrote out like the different ways that I want to go about doing this. And one of which is,
I remember,
I'm not going to be fucking posting clips to TikTok and Instagram shoot me. I just want to do one platform for the clips. I'll just post them to TikTok and post them and look away, you know?
So suck it.
So suck it. You're not going to see this on Reels, but you're going to see it on TikTok if you're looking for the clips. Still wanted to do the video because I like the video format. I feel like that's more fun to like edit and play around with. Towards the end of the podcast, we weren't doing video.
Yeah.
Right. We were doing a couple episodes where it was just audio. And then the other thing that I think is a big piece in the difference we're doing this is we used to come into the podcast with like a single topic. And it was, we're going to talk about just this thing. We're going to bring a guest on who's going to talk about this thing because it relates to them. That's why we bring them on the podcast. And that was great. Like you get to hear interesting perspectives, but that's a full-time job. Yeah. Finding guests, getting them lined up, making the conversation engaging, because as the host, like we're trying to steer this thing in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think in reflecting, like before we agreed to like actually do this again, we were reflecting on like, well, what did we really like about the podcast? And one of the things that we brought up was the original format of it was just our friends. Mm-hmm. It was just us sitting down with our friends, and like that, like we know each other really well. And I think that can bring out much more natural, organic conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what we're doing this time around. We're not bringing on guests necessarily a lot of the time. It might even just be you and I a lot of the time. We're not coming with a single topic. I've written down in my phone, and I may check my phone to reference my notes. I've written down in my phone.
Notes, don't write anything else down.
And I've written down in my notes like a bunch of things that I've been thinking about that I just want to talk about. And that's the way we're gonna go about this. I think it's gonna hopefully, and anybody who's a fan and like coming back to listen to this, like send us a message and let us know if you like this new way of doing it. The topics might kind of bounce around a little bit. They might not always be related directly, but there's stuff that has been on our minds, has been on our mental that we want to talk about. So I'm happy we're here. I'm happy we're sitting down. I'm happy we're doing this again.
Yeah, me too.
And we've missed almost 2 years in my brain. But we've missed like a year and a half, almost a year and a half.
Almost a year and a half.
And so I think it's a good idea that we maybe get caught up on some things, some new things in our lives that we've been doing. If it's all right with you, I'm going to introduce Mickey.
Sure.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to bring her in front of the camera and in front of the microphone. There you go. Wake her up. We have Mickey. There's Mickey.
Very handsome.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
Very good. Very handsome. She's a girl. Everybody, this is Mickey. This is a new addition to my life and a thing that has changed in my life. Obviously, you'll see the surroundings here. Elephant in the room. The room's different. I have moved out. It was January that I moved out with my girlfriend, my partner, Gemma. And she's going to be coming home shortly and busting through the door, screaming, howling.
As she does.
As she does. No, but anyways, that's been a big change in the last year and a half, and I love it. I think we both, I can only speak for myself for sure, but I think we both love living with each other. Yeah. And it's been a really positive change in life. And Mickey's been cool having her. We got her in, we brought her home in March, I think. Mid-March. Clearly, I'm not great with timelines, thinking that this was 2 years ago. So that's been one huge change. Something else that I found recently, a big change, was I got into jiu-jitsu.
Yes,
which I feel like you like because you like MMA so much.
I do, yeah.
You and the Sandu men sitting around.
Oh, for sure. UFC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just
beers, slamming beers.
Slamming beers.
Coca-Cola Zero.
Whoa. Coca-Cola Zero.
Protein shakes.
Dude, man. Do you actually slam protein shakes while watching UFC?
No. Just right after the workout. But I do slam it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, jiu-jitsu's been sick.
Yeah, it definitely interested me when you first started going. Mm-hmm. It still does.
Yeah.
I would love to like get in there and just like get submitted.
Yeah, dude.
That's probably what would happen.
There's
but
nothing
the ego
better.
is like the mental ego of me. No, it's not the like, you know, the what I'm thinking of. Like I could get like someone in there.
Oh yeah.
I could get them, you know.
But they'll be magicians and they'll get you. You remember when you tried to get me in the bunk bed? We were on
you didn't tap me though.
Yeah, well, I was covered by a blanket, bro.
I ambushed him in his room.
Dude.
I just jumped on top of him.
And I was trying to wiggle my way out of there, and I put you in a single leg X. Come in, baby. It's okay. No. I just said we live together, and yeah, welcome. You all won't see her, but Gemma's home. Anyway, so yeah, you couldn't pass my guard? What was it? My Z guard. Z guard. You were trying to strip it off, and you were going to get this fucking Z guard. I was trying to
strip it off so good.
But I feel like you would love it. Generally, anybody who's listening and is like wondering, maybe like, could I do something different for my fitness? Do I like solving problems? Am I a detail-oriented person? Try jiu-jitsu. It is so sick. I've been doing no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Gi-less
jiu-jitsu. Just because that is all that I ever saw.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like that I'd rather do. I just feel like it would almost be more complicated with a gi.
There's so much
more grabbing, so much more defense, right?
It's extremely technical, and it's a whole other game. Like people at our gym who normally practice no gi recently did a gi turn, gi-less. I'll switch to gi-less for now. Recently switched to or they did a gi tournament without ever like even putting a gi on and like doing a round of gi. Like they just went to the tournament.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but that's the way it seemed, or was like kind of positioned as they're just going to go and do gi. No, they did well. One of them, and he's like an incredible athlete. His name's Flixel. Like you will have seen him
Axel
on the
Flixel.
Yeah, Axel Flixel. He's got like 10 years plus wrestling experience. Came to the gym, and within I think just a few months was promoted to a blue belt. So in jiu-jitsu it's white, blue, purple, brown, and black. In terms of like skill level and stuff, someone who has that much like experience, and he had college experience, from what I understand, they're not allowed to compete at a white belt level. They have to compete at blue. And so he was competing at blue belt while still technically being a white belt, and was like crushing people because his stand-up game is so sick.
Stand-up game.
Because every jiu-jitsu match starts standing.
Right.
It all ends up on the ground.
Like the transition.
Right. But yeah, you both start standing, and it's about how you get to the ground, whether it's through a takedown, or if you're someone who likes to play guard, you'll pull guard, sit on your ass. But I have no problem with that. There's a lot of like taboo, like, oh, you shouldn't do that or whatever.
Shouldn't pull guard right away?
Well, people call it like, people say it's pussy.
Like, yeah.
Even if you talk to like someone like Flixel, who like, he's an incredible wrestler, he would say like, you should wrestle, right?
Yeah.
Like take him to the ground. And he teaches wrestling classes at the gym now too, which is really cool. Yeah, on Saturdays. But he's sick, man. And so it's just a cool place to go and train. You get your ass kicked. So to your point, like you only don't go, I think, because of schedule partly. You work nights and the classes are in the evening, so you can't really go to at least the same gym.
Yeah.
But you get your ass kicked. The first day, I barely made it through the first class. I don't think I really did. I think I sat out towards the end of it. I felt like I was going to puke. Like I was so close. And I think it's in part, it's like, and this is such a cool, like you can take life lessons from doing jiu-jitsu for sure. But like I went and I had no sense of like energy management. You know what I mean? It's like you go in and like, you just think like, I got to go all out. But like the squeezing, like the tense part of it, like when you're, and as a white belt who doesn't know shit, I've one stripe on my white belt. Like I thought you got to like squeeze. Like if I get somebody's head, I got to really squeeze this shit. But it's so technical that really you got to set the submission the right way and get it actually in place. And then you really don't have to squeeze as hard. Like you'll squeeze and you'll get them. But like it was just like tensing your whole body just like shocked my system like crazy.
Yeah.
And so on the first day I was hooked because it was like, this is completely different than anything else that I've done. You know what I mean? And so I was so used to just going to the gym, and the gym is great, but as I mentioned earlier, it's like I'd stopped going as often, you know?
Yeah.
So it was cool that I found jiu-jitsu. That was another cool thing. And I've been keeping up with it. I was recently out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of ringworm and what ended up being, some people say impetigo, some people say impetigo. To me, it reads as impetigo, so I'm going to say impetigo. But I had like a little spot on my forearm that needed to be treated because it's all just contagious. It doesn't like, it doesn't really do shit. You know what I mean? Like it's ringworm. It's fungus. Ringworm is a fungus. Impetigo is caused by, I believe, the same bacteria that staph is. So it's minor. You just get it treated, but it's gross, right? It looks gross on the surface, but it's super contagious. Thankfully, Gemma never got it. Mickey never got it. But I was on 4 weeks off because it was my third time getting it in the year. And it was just like, we needed to rule out, like my doctor and I, we were like, we got to rule out if you're somehow like just giving this to yourself again at home. Like, have you like come in contact with something that hasn't been cleaned properly, even though I was fairly sure I was. And so we were like, you're going to do this 4-week protocol. I got prescribed,
antibiotics.
I got prescribed an antibiotic ointment, which was for the impetigo. The description on it was to apply, this is gross, to honey crusted lesions. And so it looks, dude, if I showed you a picture, it looks like dried honey around like whatever the opening is on your arm. It's gross. And then I was also prescribed a prescription grade fluconazole, which the chefs in the kitchen call Canestin, vaginal yeast oral medication, because it's an antifungal.
Right.
And so here I am, I'm popping for 4 weeks, once a week, prescription grade vaginal yeast meds, and rubbing myself down with cream twice a day, 3 times for the impetigo when it was visible. And it went away. And the whole 4 weeks, I did not get it again. So we ruled out that I've got it at home. Happens to be that I come in contact with either someone at the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
But it goes away. It's treatable, and jiu-jitsu is still fun. And today was my first day back. I got my ass kicked again because my cardio is gone.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know I've been rambling a lot here about the new things in my life. Moved in with my girlfriend. We love it here. We've got Mickey. I've tried jiu-jitsu. My job is still great. I love my job. And I could talk about games, but I'm not going to right now.
Sure. Yeah.
What's new with you in the last year and a half?
Year and a half.
Kept the question again.
Kept the mustache.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
I'm a mustache guy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too much.
It looks
though.
good on you.
I think so. I think it does. Become my dad. So keeping the my mustache is bigger than his.
Really?
Yeah. He's doing it more of like.
What else is bigger than his?
Come on, it's my dad. It's my dad you're talking about.
At least you have one. Come on.
Yours is around. Yours is out there.
It's in Maple Ridge.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, you kept the mustache.
The mustache is good. I like the mustache.
I like it too.
What else has been happening? I was in a relationship the last time we had talked. What was the last episode?
Really?
Episode? Yeah.
June 2023?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then now I am not.
Now you're not?
Now I'm not. But there have been other...
Children in the hall.
Oh, okay. It's in the hall. I was like...
This is an apartment.
Your girlfriend's getting a little crazy over there.
She's screaming. I told you, she's screaming and hollering.
There have been other developments.
Yes.
Which are developing.
We'll keep them private. I'm not going to grill you.
Well, maybe I'll talk about it another time.
Time. Later down the line.
I'm pretty content with how things are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting. That's all I'll say.
On the relationship front.
On the
on the interest front.
Yeah, on the interest front.
Whatever you want to call it.
But yeah, that's been cool.
Cool.
Well, it's been a major transition because like being in a relationship for a while and then not and then I don't know how to approach it.
Well, it makes me. I'm obviously not experiencing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're almost 30. you're 29.
I feel like my brain's still at. It got stuck at 5 and a half. No. Yeah. Maybe 20.
Half 5.
Half 5.
Half 5.
I think my brain got stuck at like 23.
Sure.
24.
Yeah. I get that vibe sometimes talking to you. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like, not in a stupid way.
No.
I can still be immature a lot of the time. Yeah. I'm like, also like, I can just chill. You know? I could do nothing. I could sleep for hours as well. What else has been going on is that I've been quite inconsistent in the gym, maybe for like just within the past.
But you still post the thirst traps.
Yeah.
on his story. And he's got a public profile, so you can just go watch. You don't have to follow.
Sometimes I go private.
Yeah, once you've got a DM or two, he goes private.
I think I'm private right now. I'm pretty sure I'm private.
Yeah.
Right now. Anyways, but yeah, I was like for like the last. Did you have anything to say previously? You were stuff to
but no. I mean, continue. I was gonna ask, and we can get back to it. But I was gonna ask, like what is it like being single at almost 30? But
29, first of all. But yeah, and like
it's almost 30. It is almost 30. 29 is almost 30.
It's as close as you can get.
I'm 28. I'm almost 30.
Yeah, late 20s.
Yeah.
But
anyway, sorry.
It wasn't. I guess looking back and like wondering where I'd be at, let's just say 30, or like 29.
Yeah.
It's not as scary as I would have thought. I guess maybe I wouldn't have thought it would be scary, but
like not being in a relationship.
I still feel very comfortable
and
like independent. And
now, is that because you are stuck at 23, 24 in your head?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe. That sounds about right.
But no,
I
shouldn't be saying that. No.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. There's no need to be in a relationship.
I still don't know if I want kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa. It used to be a hard no.
Yeah, well,
it was a stiff no. It was a
stiff no,
Rigid.
and then it was more like
not quite hard.
I'll like maybe if it comes.
It was a half chub no.
It was a half chub, Nick Chubb. But if like I was like, if the conversation came up and I'd actually put some thought, I'd open to being a part of that conversation, which I still am, but still a no.
Right,
and it doesn't bother me, you know.
Yeah.
I could be.
You're content, like you said.
I am. I'm content. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I'm just not. I don't see. Getting a little bit deeper.
I don't see an end to this.
Getting a little bit deeper here, but I don't know like what I don't have a goal for what my future looks like sometimes, or like most of the time, right? Like there's some things like, I would like to keep doing these things in the future, or I'd like to be traveling more in the future. Or like to be this type of person in the future, but relationships and I guess relationships and like falls like under that umbrella, like children and things like that. Those don't concern me too much.
Sure,
they might later.
Right,
I'm already fucking 30, but it might later. But I'll get there when I get there. I'm not too concerned. That's what I guess I'm getting at.
That's fair. Yeah.
So what's your fucking problem?
Dude, man, I got major beef with that for sure. No, I agree. And just what you're saying is making me think a little bit about, I mean, you said like you don't know what you want to do. I don't know what I want to do either, man. But at the same time, I wonder if that whole idea of like, what do you want to do? Is that just something that the world puts on you to think about in the first place?
I mean, I feel like...
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'll let you get your thought out. But I want to add this first. I don't mean to sound apathetic or like unmotivated or passionless. You know, I don't mean to say like, why do you need to like come up with something to do? Like, I think it is important to have motivation and something you're passionate about. But I also think it's okay to like just go day to day, man.
Yeah.
Be happy with little things.
Yeah. I mean, there's things like, it just made me think of something that I like, there's another goal I felt like creating for myself somewhat recently, which seems more exciting than relationship wise or starting a family wise.
Sure. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Yeah. Which was, it's kind of specific, but like if I had a weekend to myself, which I do a lot of the time, not maybe like, let's say every other weekend on average, or like once every 3 weekends.
There's nothing in the calendar.
Yeah. I want to do something. I want to do something by myself, like go out.
Oh, sure.
And the reason why I made that decision, well, I haven't made that decision, but it's something I do want to do. This is a goal I want to have. I'm not sure what, I'm still figuring it out in my hand, what is going on behind it, but
like why this is something you want to do.
Earlier this year, The Lion King, the original and best Lion King, came out in theaters.
Oh, I remember this. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
what was it? Damn. 30th anniversary.
Was that anniversary? Wow.
30th anniversary. I went to
almost 30.
Me and a bunch of like AJ and then we were trying to look for tickets for a scary movie that was in theaters. So I was just looking for last minute tickets, and then I saw The Lion King was in theaters.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, and I was just had nothing to do, and it was like I don't remember what it might have been, like a Friday night or something, and I was like, I kind of want to go and watch it.
Yeah, because you would have never seen it in theaters.
No.
Yeah.
No, because I think it actually came out in it came out in 94.
Sure.
So couldn't have.
Yeah. I wasn't born yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, shit, I kind of want to like go and watch it. And I was messaging a few people at the time and I was like, I kind of want to do that. But like I was trying to get their opinion. Like, you know, sometimes I just like say things just to get a little more of like support.
Get a little feedback on it.
Little push forward.
Yeah.
So I got that. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll buy the tickets. And there was a few other people in the theaters. And then I showed up and no one was there. And it was just me in the theater.
Really?
And I brought my weed pen. I brought my vape. And I brought a flask of I don't know, some rum. I got some popcorn.
Dude.
It was a great time. I almost cried in the theater as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite movie.
I feel like that would be such being alone lets you just be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you saying that you almost cried in the theater, you know, like you wouldn't have to worry about like somebody like seeing you like by yourself crying. I mean, I brought
like my hoodie and like a hat just in case people are really going to be in there, but there was no one there. I switched seats a few times. I was getting the best acoustics. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You can't do that,
put
man.
my feet up there like crazy. My feet were up like crazy. But yeah, it was nice.
Spread across like 4 seats.
Spread
eag all over the seats, man.
Yeah.
At one point you were facing the back of the theater.
I was watching upside down.
That's cool though, but
pants were off.
But doing things alone.
Yeah, and it's not even like that. It was sick that I got to watch The Lion King in theaters for the first time ever, which is my top 2 favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more doing something alone.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I did alone, not totally on purpose this year, was I was supposed to go out to one of our friends' birthdays. I don't know if I remember that or anything, but I realized I actually wasn't invited.
Oh
yeah. It was
yes.
I know my ex's friend, and I just assumed I was invited because that's what the messages was given basically.
Right.
Not directly, you know, but I just assumed, and I'm not one to over assume.
Right.
So I thought my assumptions were quite
correct.
Valid.
Yeah.
And then I realized, then I got some messages like, oh, I don't know if you're supposed to be here.
Right.
So I ended up going
rude, but justified.
I ended up going. I was already like really close, so I ended up going to went into a restaurant by myself.
Yeah,
had some dinner by myself,
dude.
Yeah, Vietnamese restaurant. It was delicious.
Nice.
I think it was literally called Vietnamese restaurant or Vietnamese house or something.
The best Vietnamese food in all of Vancouver.
Yeah. So
yeah,
and I like.
I've never done that, by the way.
That was my first time. I felt like I was like sitting in my car. I was like, oh, should I go in there? I'm like, I was obviously hungry, but yeah, that's something I feel like I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be that person that does those types of things and feels comfortable doing that.
Yeah, that you can.
Yeah. And then I want to build up slowly to where I can travel by myself. Yes.
Have you talked to Jess about that? Jay Doss?
No, but he would be a good person
to talk to. He would be a good person to talk to about it since he did.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
He just doesn't give a fuck. He just went to Portugal and he loved it.
Did he?
Yeah, remember? He went away and he was going to do a longer trip. It ended up being shorter, but like, yeah, he went away. Lisbon, he loved Lisbon. I was going to say when you started talking about like wanting to do things on your own, like being more comfortable, I was going to say travel.
Yeah.
Like if you got a weekend, like you could even just do a weekend trip somewhere.
Yeah.
Hop on a plane, go, boom, come back.
Cool. Matt's doing that.
Dude.
Matt does that.
Matt does
that.
Dude.
Matt's the king of doing
that.
Dude,
he's been doing that for a while, man. Yeah. But yeah, you could do that. And then you go and like eat and walk around, like check shit out in the area and come back, man. Yeah. That'd be sick.
Yeah, it would be.
That's like it reminds me of Evan, old roommate, and Ivan. This would have been like back in 2017 or 16 in Japan. And Evan at the time was working at Air Canada, and people who work for airlines, they get these like buddy passes and stuff where you can fly on standby to destinations for crazy cheap. And I can't, like, I'll say what they did anyways. So Evan messaged all of us and he was like, does anybody want to go to Japan for a weekend? $80 round trip was what it was.
Ridiculous.
Insane, man. But it's a weekend. And it's a long ass flight. You're going to get there. You're going to have 1 or 2 nights. I don't even know if they did 2 nights. It might have just been 1, but I think it was 2. And then they came back and that was the trip. But $80 round trip. Like, how could you say no to that? I'm curious why you didn't say
that. Sounds
yes.
like an Uber there and back.
Dude, legit. It sounds like an Uber there and back to downtown. It is an Uber there and back to downtown, but you're going to Japan. I didn't go because I was too much of a bitch to call in sick. Like it was within like my schedule was posted, you know what I mean? Like it was like the next weekend or something.
Yeah.
And I was too much of a bitch to call in sick. I wish I had said yes, because that would be so sick, man. And that's like a once in a lifetime thing for people who aren't working in an airport.
Yeah.
You know, to have that offered up to you.
Yeah, I do regret not saying yes to that as well. I don't remember what I was doing, but
yeah. But you could do weekend trips and you could go somewhere for a weekend. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be fun. Be a little mysterious.
Yeah.
You know?
But definitely going to work up to that for sure.
Do it.
Catch another couple solo movies.
Do it, man.
You
should go bowling by yourself.
That's fucked. You're sick. You're
can't
disgusting.
be serious.
Bowling for one?
I'll take 2 lanes, please. Dude, man, that would be fun though.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
would be fun.
Yeah, so I've just been trying to think of like other things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do want to like slowly grow out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
In like ways that I want to.
Yeah.
The things that interest me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like I'm fairly like the idea of even going to a restaurant by myself, that sounds like interesting and like neat to me, but like I don't want to do it. I want to go with somebody. I want to eat food. Yeah. But like that's just the way that my brain's working. You being someone who is comfortable by yourself, more so I would say than myself. Not that I'm uncomfortable by myself. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that's just the way that your brain is working right now, and that'd be cool to kind of feed that and see like where that takes you to. You know. Yeah.
It does. It does feel like there's almost like an excitement there.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Unlocking something possibly in me.
Yeah.
Pants might be off.
They could be. Dude, imagine pants off in Japan for a weekend. Come on, man. Yeah. Gets locked up in the Japanese prison.
There's one more thing.
Yeah, what else new? Yeah.
Career-wise, finally.
Whoa.
Finally.
Do I not even know this?
You do. I thought I've talked about it before. Maybe not. No, I have.
You've talked about, if I'm thinking, just talk.
Yeah.
I got to shut up.
Not any, there's no career change yet.
Okay, then I do know.
There's things in works. So I brought it up many times when we used to do the check-ins and stuff. Work's great. I love being at my work environment at the community centers. I love talking to people, random people, old people. Super cool.
You look cute tonight.
Yeah. Someone the other day, this lady was like, "You look good with a beard," and I see her every other week. And I'm like, "I've had this."
Always have a beard.
Yeah. So what's been new is earlier this year, one of my ex coworkers. It was right after COVID, or right after the return back to work from COVID.
Yeah. Like May 2020.
She decided to not return, and she had a goal already set to open her own studio, a gym, a training studio.
Yeah, training.
Yeah. So she ended up doing that instead of returning back to work, which is really cool for her, and I think she's doing well. And then I remember her mentioning at the time, she was saying, if you ever decide to get your personal training certification, I would just message me. And then it was earlier this year, it might've been like February or March or something. And we were talking and she said the same thing again. And I think I was just feeling a bit more motivated that day. Yeah. So I was like, I actually think I want to take you up on that offer. And then I was talking to a few personal trainers at work and stuff. Cause I think the main deterrence for me for personal training at the time was like, I didn't want to seem like a typical meathead douchebaggy type of guy that got into personal training right away. Because you're jacked. Yeah, which is a terrible excuse because it's just different for everyone. Yeah. You're passionate about it. You love working out. You like taking care of yourself. And then the other thing was like, I didn't want to have to go and get clients because I know I'm not that type of person that goes and is like a go-getter type of type of dude.
You're selling yourself.
Yeah, I don't like to sell myself.
Yeah, you're just perfect. People should buy you anyway. You know?
Yeah. So that
got you flustered here.
Yeah. So I know,
Yeah.
knowing that she has her own studio, I wouldn't have to do that because the clients would come to her and then she dishes out the clients, apparently, something like that.
Sure.
But I don't have to go and get clients.
Nice.
So that cancels out that.
Yeah.
And
she
then
assigns the clients to a trainer at her studio.
Exactly.
Bingo.
And then the other thing I hadn't thought about when I was talking to other personal trainers about it was that I just hadn't thought about it was it's just all one-on-one. And I love one-on-one. I like talking to people. I can empathize with people really well. And I think I'd just be good at that. So I made the decision to start studying to get my personal training certification.
And you've been doing that.
And I've been doing that for
Dude.
the past several months.
Nice.
So it's been exciting.
That's sick, man. I didn't know that you had
yeah.
actually like started. I know that
Yeah.
you told me you were like, she had messaged you again, which first of all, like that's sick. The follow-up for someone to like still be thinking about you and like offer that again.
Yeah.
Because that's been years.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
like still like have that offer on the table, like mad respect to her because that's such a nice, what's the right word for that? Doesn't matter. Really nice thing to do. Yeah. Very, very nice.
It's not even like I was looking for change.
Yeah.
But it's nice that the change found me.
The change found you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not chasing it.
Yeah.
It was right there.
I mean, although sometimes I feel like I should be chasing it, like, especially when things are stagnant for a while, there's some guilt that sets in. But I'm not going to complain because it feels like things just went perfectly. Obviously, could wish I could started a bit earlier, but I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
It played out the way it played out, and you're doing things the way that you chose to do things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you. I didn't realize that you had started it. That is really cool.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty close to being ready to take the exam.
Yeah,
because that's all I need to do apparently.
And then you're certified.
I need to get 70% on the exam, and then I'm certified, and then I can quit the old rec center.
Yeah,
even though
jump straight into training.
Yeah, we'll just go into training. Yeah,
I'm sure people will be sad to see you go too.
For sure.
You've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been almost somewhere between 8 and 9 years.
Since you were 20 something? 21?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Why are you looking like you're doubting me?
No.
I've been there. Check the fucking records.
You're almost 30. You're better with the dates than I am.
Yeah.
But fuck it, you're onto something better. That is really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool, and it's right up your alley.
Yeah. And that's also like being in the gym. And it's also like great for my back, my lower back, and my hips, which are feeling really good these days, guys.
Really good. Guys. Sciatica, not a problem.
No, it's waiting there. It's waiting for me to slip up for sure. It's always waiting.
It's just.
But I've got its number. I've got its number. Yeah,
dude, man. Speaking of feeling better physically, you know how like my Achilles always gave me trouble.
Did it?
Well, they did. I couldn't run without being in pain. Since doing jiu-jitsu, that's gone because your feet are like always working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jesse, who got me into jiu-jitsu, Jesse Beavis, he said like, dude, you might actually benefit from it in this way when he was telling me to come try it out. Anyways, is there anything more that you wanted to say from like the last year and a half that you've been up to and that has changed?
I think there was a period where I was really inconsistent with the gym.
Yeah,
and I was like, and then I was like, I think this will be okay, like mentally. But then I got back into the gym like more consistently, and then I felt just way better. And I was like, no, still my mental. Fuck, there was like a word. There was definitely like a word or phrase we
capacity,
used to use.
wellness, health.
Yeah, mental health. I guess.
Yeah,
mental health. Yeah, whatever. Use it in a sentence. Shut up. My mental health was still directly tied into my...
Yeah.
And I don't care. Fine. It should be. It should be. Yeah.
It should be. And I think that's a good thing to call it is like, if you can identify a thing that is directly related to it and you know that it is, that's a really nice thing to kind of lean on when you do need those bounce backs. You know what I'm saying? I sent you a video today of a guy who was, I think his YouTube channel is Dr. Healthy K. Gamer GG.
Yeah,
his name is Dr. K. I think he's like an actual psychiatrist, plays a ton of games, but he was talking at one point in the video that I sent you about motivation versus willpower. And when you have the motivation to do something, it takes very little willpower to actually go and do it. When you don't have the motivation to do something, so when you're you're in the slump rather of not going to the gym or staying active, for example, it takes a lot more willpower to actually get up and do it. And I think that's what I'm saying is, like, if you have something that you know is directly correlated to your mental health, and if you ever feel like you are not doing as well as you think you could be mental health wise, if you can look at that thing that you know has helped you in the past, that has been directly correlated, and you go and do it, you push as much willpower as you can to get back in there, that motivation will come back and just like keep you going. And that takes less and less willpower to keep up with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's always like getting back into the habit of something is really tough to do. Yeah. But once you're there, when it was something that was good for you, the muscle memory comes back. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're doing, it comes back.
Thank God for muscle memory.
Dude, thank God.
It's even like not even just muscle memory, just a lot of like all types of memories.
All types of memories. Cellular.
Yeah. Sure.
Just memory.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah. But yeah, watching that video, then it's super interesting.
Really interesting.
And like it was nice how he actually like broke it down in scientific terms, I guess.
But
like,
easy to understand. About, like, he's very well spoken, this guy. Healthy Gamer GG.
He's very relatable.
Check him out.
For sure. But he's breaking things like in terms of the receptors, the neuroreceptors, and like how they get depleted or they get shut off.
They get he was talking about building tolerance.
Yeah. Right? Wasn't he saying that they get shut off? Or something? Receptors do get shut off.
Yeah. It's like it's used to what you're giving it, and so you got to feed it more and more and more. The receptors aren't like doing what they need to.
Yeah,
like,
all that was really interesting. But then after watching the video, I did actually feel relieved because a lot of the things he was talking about were like pretty high, like detrimental. Yeah, and like what was it? He was the word. He was like end of. I'll
find it.
But he was saying like it was
like it was late something. Late onset. End stage screen addiction. Yeah, because that's what the video was on. Yeah, it was about being addicted to your screen.
Yeah, and it just made me realize that I'm not addicted to like I actually am not addicted to my screen.
Props to you.
Definitely using it and like whipping out my phone way more than I should. There's some of those some of those like results that come from that, and I'm not seeing and I'm not like I don't associate
like
with those two.
He was talking about so much of like the lack of motivation that comes from
lack of motivation, lack of it's like I don't know if he was saying self-awareness or emotion. He was talking about
emotional awareness. Yeah,
emotional awareness. Yeah,
and all of this stuff is tied to becoming addicted to screens. Yeah, and it's because this is a horrible TLDR of the video, but he was talking about how it's like you're flooded with dopamine from the shit that's on your screens from the moment you wake up. I'm somebody who like I check my phone the first thing when I wake up.
I do too. Yeah,
I'm in bed and I will go through whatever notifications. I clear my notifications before I get up.
Everything but the mail app.
It's on, dude. That's empty for me. But it's almost like my motivation is I wake up and I need to clear my notifications before I can start my day. Yeah, that's fucked, man.
It is fucked.
I think
I'm actually doing that too.
It's fucked, man. I have started, and it's I'm almost ashamed to admit it, but I'm not, because we're here and we talk about these things. I bring my phone places where I shouldn't bring my phone.
Where is that?
I go in. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person here. You ever got to take a number 2? You got to bring the phone. Of course, with you. What the hell am I going to do? Actually, just sit there and shit? No.
Rip out the newspaper.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like reading a book, but it's a flashy lights screen in my hand. That's so cool. I bring my phone with me when I brush my teeth. I can't be bothered to sit there and brush my teeth for 2 minutes because that's too long. I got to scroll. If we're playing Call of Duty in the off time that we play Call of Duty, we've gotten back into it now with the latest Warzone. In my opinion, it sucks. I'm not a fan. But anyways, if I'm dead, I'm on my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm on my phone at any point. And he talked about this in the video is like, it fills a void, like a temporal, a spatial void. Is like, if I don't have something going on, bring out the phone. If I'm watching a movie, I used to be really good at being able to sit through the whole movie and watch the whole thing. I'm finding myself now like checking my phone. What the fuck am I checking my phone for? There's nothing that important there. This is one of the things that I wrote down as stuff I wanted to talk about, and I'm being conscious of time. Like, we're coming up on an hour or so here, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was like using social media, and it's like it's a weird position to be in as I'm thinking about starting back with the podcast, and it's a bit of a hypocrisy. If you're someone who makes any kind of art that is like a content to be consumed, you're part of the problem. You know what I mean? And even when the content is talking, and it's like this guy as well that we were listening to today. I was thinking about that too. Yeah. This is all great information. This is actually like really like I learned a lot. It was a 40-minute video, and I just listened to it straight through. It's been a long time since I've been hooked by something like that quick. But it's like, if you're making stuff and you're putting it out there, you're part of the problem. You're making content for people to consume. We're going to be making this for people to listen to or watch, and then there's going to be clips that we want people to watch so they come and listen to more. It's like that gets you to continue to be on your phone, and it's just like it's part of the world we live in. I recognize that much, but I can't help, and I get this feeling so often. I wrote about it in a journal. It's like, I feel like shit sometimes with how much I use social media to just mindlessly scroll. He talked about this in the video too. You turn your brain off. It's literally doing all the thinking for you when you're scrolling through, whether it's Reels, TikTok. And I'm one of those guys too. You guys make fun of me for this. I'm like, oh, I don't use TikTok anymore, but I'm on fucking Reels. It's the same thing. Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, they're all the exact same thing. They just have different algorithms that pump out stuff to you, but you go there and all you have to do is swipe. And it's onto a different video, an unrelated video. It's something completely new. And I don't remember what I watched 5 minutes ago. If I didn't like it or send it to someone, it meant nothing to me. It's like you're sifting through sand to find dirt. You know what I mean? Like, there's no good that comes out of this. Occasionally you find something or someone that you're like, oh, wow, this is like inspiring to me. I've learned something from this. Tell me if you fucking remember it a month from now. You don't. I don't. You know?
Well, how did you stumble on this guy, the doctor?
This was a suggested video on YouTube. And it must have been because I've been talking about not wanting to be on social media so much, and it probably heard me, and now it's suggesting this content to me, because I didn't search up any videos about social media, but here I am getting suggested this thing. And at the same time, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I watched it, and I'm glad I listened to it. And it's just this weird, like, paradoxical kind of place to be in with your head. It is like, I don't like this and I like this. I hate this. I love it. I think, and I wrote it down here in my notes. I wrote down, it's like, but how else would I find my quotes? When I find my quotes that I want to reference, because I wanted to talk about this quote today about something that John Cena had said. And it was John Cena on Kai Cenat's stream. And he was there and he was talking about purpose. And the gist of what he was saying, because it was a longer quote, but he was talking about finding purpose, and he has decided for himself and discovered for himself that his purpose is feeling useful. No, but that's it's
sure,
it's,
yeah,
and
no,
it's
it
like,
just sounds funny from the
but it's like, it's being useful to other people. I felt attached to that. In the past, I've talked about, I like helping people. Like, that's what I liked in my old job. That's what I like in my current job. That's what I like about the idea of this podcast, is I feel like it can help people. And it's cool that I found that video, but I found it while my brain was fucking melting, man. I'm switched off, as the kids say these days, brain rotting, right? And I come across this video and it's like, oh, cool. I've like learned this thing. I want to talk about this thing. But that's like the one piece of useful information that I took out of probably what was like an hour plus of scrolling through nonsense. What the fuck am I doing? That's the way I feel a lot of the time. And then the other times it's like, I like this. I'm enjoying this. This shit's funny. Let me send some way too many reels to you guys. Let me send some shit to Gemma. It's like, it's this wave, it feels like, of accepting that this is nonsense, but it's fun nonsense, and then realizing this is nonsense and this can't be good for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I've exploded enough here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, for sure it's not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost 30 though.
We're almost 30.
The damage would be seen, right? I would think that would start to rear its head at this point.
But to the guy's point, Dr. K's
what are you
point,
waiting for? 50 years old, where we start getting?
You're 50. You're dead already. We don't know the effects of this yet.
I guess
the first iPhone came out in 2007, man. Dude, vapes as well. You can talk about vapes all day, man. But we don't know how this all plays out in a world that is very focused on technology. It's funny. I was watching. There's a new Netflix documentary, By Now, also interesting documentary. Check it out. But something, and they weren't talking about this, but it made me think about this. But they were talking about like a dependency that is created by the manufacturers of these products. And an example that I thought about while they were talking about this, because they're all talking about like how to get people to buy more stuff, right? We live in a world where like everything's just wasteful, right? You don't need the newest iPhone, but a new one comes out every year. You don't need to buy new shoes, but you go and buy new shoes. You don't need to do a fucking Shein haul and get $800 worth of stuff.
Who's buying $800 worth of Shein?
People on the internet, and they're doing their hauls, and they're like, look at all this stuff that I got, and it's this massive load. All the stuff on Amazon.
How big is the load?
It's a massive load. But they were talking about also on Amazon, it's like the whole one-click buy thing like that. Like they have designed the web pages in Amazon. The colors of the buttons matter. The colors of the highlighted, if you spend more than this dollar amount, matters. They've tried different colors and tested them like just randomly out there to find the things that make you actually want to buy it and be impulsive with your decision.
I do notice, thinking about it now, when I open up the Amazon app, if I do need to buy something, it's like easy. It feels very seamless when I'm on there.
Easy, man. Mm-hmm. And it's impulsive, it's quick, and their whole design philosophy is we want you to make this decision before you've thought it out. We want you, if you want to buy something, you buy it. And so I'm just making sure she doesn't stand on anything. Mickey, get the hell out of here. That was rude. I would never talk to her. I don't talk to her like that. Mickey, get out of here, sweetheart. That was for the show. Anyways, what it made me think about though is like I used, you see around us here, smart lights. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't have a fucking light switch to turn these on. I got to turn them on with my phone. Mm-hmm. I can't even turn on the lights in my house without opening my phone. That's not right. And but it's cool. They change colors. Yeah, you know, you can dim them when you want them dim. There's even fireplace settings, so they kind of flicker a little bit. That's sweet. I love it. Yeah. And I actually enjoy it. And it just works with Siri, so I don't have to,
Did your power go out the other day?
No. I heard you got a power outage, right? My power didn't go out.
At work, yeah.
No. We were good over here, man. But we had, we were about to get gassed out.
A lot of gassed out?
Yeah, man. There were fire trucks out here. Because
there was a gas leak?
There was legitimately a gas leak. Like we smelt gas, and they're telling us it wasn't gas. Bro, it was fucking gas, man. It smells like rotten eggs. They put that stuff in the gas to make it smell, so you know that there's a gas leak. It's like I was sitting on the little stool bench thing over there, like putting my shoes on because we were going upstairs to the gym, and then I'm tying my shoes, and I'm like, it smells like rotten eggs. And first of all, I thought am I just disgusting? Like, do I rip ass and not even know? Do I smell like rotten eggs? But then we opened the door, and it's like the whole hallway smelled like it. And then we went upstairs. It's just one floor up over to the gym, and then that floor smelled like it. And then we had gone down, and we have a concierge in our building, and we went and we talked to the concierge. We were like, hey, it kind of smells like gas. And they went to go check it out, and they're like, oh, maybe it's just food. 15 minutes into us working out, we got our headphones in. We see a flash in the room, and it's the fire alarm thing going off just with the flash because we had headphones in. That's a great thing, by the way, for people who are deaf. You can still know when a fire is going on.
Noise and
lights.
And lights. Yeah. Sure. They do that everywhere.
Dude, they do now. But anyways, I don't think they always have.
Okay, fine.
Back in school, it was just the bell.
The bell. Getting a gas leak at school though.
But for fires. Anyways, my point was no, we didn't have a power outage, but there was a gas leak. So we were outside. We brought Mickey out, and we were waiting for them to let us back in. They aired the place out. That was all they did. The firemen came, they aired it out. They're like, all right, you're good. It's gone. Anyways,
a lot of South Van lost power.
We did not.
Kerrisdale, Dunbar.
Not us.
Wow.
We're on the edge, man. We're on the edge. Marpole.
Yeah. Marpole. There's a lot of places in Marpole lost power.
Well, we were fine.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe it was related to the gas leak. There's more things that were in my notes today, but in the essence of time,
we could save it for next time.
Save it for next time, and I will add more to it. I think there will be.
I'm good.
Think there will be a next time.
With one.
You're good with one? Well, it could be a one-off. No. Do you?
No.
Yeah,
I'm good. Yeah, this has been fun.
This has been nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're back. I'm glad we're back doing this. We're so back.
Very back.
We're so back. I hope you guys like. There's new intro music. You're probably hearing now the start of some new outro music. I made it. In GarageBand. You can do this. Yeah, bro.
Oh shit, you didn't tell me that.
No, bro. I made the music.
I thought you just found it somewhere. It sounds beautiful.
I made this.
You hearing this right now?
Are you hearing this? Thank you, everybody, for anybody who was a fan of the podcast before, for coming back and checking us out again. We're happy to be back, and we'll keep this going. We'll do some more. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like. I don't know if there'll even be a schedule. Every time. This is one of the best videos of time. Nice to see you, Cabs. We're happy to be back, and we will see you next time. Peace. Fuck, man. We're so back, bro.
We're very back.